This is Allegedly in Alberta on the info with...
Good evening. It is Tuesday. It's Allegedly in Alberta. I'm Darrin Thompson, co-founder of the Alberta Accountability Alliance and the host and moderator of Allegedly in Alberta. And we are excited for a great conversation. It's Total Recall, Operation Total Recall. It's Recall Alberta. And we are joined by three of the finest people in our province, and welcome in Mona from Recall Turton, Melissa from Recall Sawhney, and Sarah from Recall Pitt. Welcome, ladies, and how are we all doing tonight?
Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good.
Very welcome. So I guess we've had conversations, of course, checking mics and all this other stuff. I guess the first thing that I want to ask is, how was the initial registration with Elections Alberta? How was your experience with that? And we'll start with Mona on the right.
Sure. So it was super easy, super smooth. There was no real issues. I mean, I went down to their office because I'm close by and signed up and gave them the paperwork and the $500. And they were the kindest, most lovely, professional people. So it was great.
Sarah, similar for you?
Yeah, Derek is our fearless leader, and he's the one who did all the paperwork. We did a little GoFundMe and raised our money and some excitement in that round. And yeah, no, it went really smoothly, and we were receiving our canvasser badges within the week.
Awesome. And Melissa, how about you?
Generally, it went pretty smoothly. I was able to send in everything. There was a clerical error, some sort of mix-up, I think, because there was so many petitions submitted similar time to mine. And so we got our approval a little bit later, and there was an apology that it had gone through something incorrect and that they hadn't sent the notice. They'd sent the notice to Rajan Sawhney, the MLA, but not to myself or the other people involved. So it was almost delayed a week. After that, it seemed to go okay. Some of our canvassing badges were a little bit slow because we were allowed to start on the 24th, but we didn't actually get any badges until the Wednesday after. So from the Monday, the 24th, the first badges started to show up on the 26th.
Perfect. I mean, since the Forever Alberta Canada campaign there, I think Elections Alberta learned quite quickly of how to get these petitions out and get the badges out and make sure that everyone is registered. I know, I think the last count, there's 18 that are already approved, with another is. I asked for Operation Total Recall to join us. Unfortunately, they couldn't. So we would have to go through the website and do that. And the links are in there. Everyone who's watching, if you're listening, go to our YouTube channel, and the links are all in the description. But I guess the question that everyone is asking is, why do we want to recall? This seems to be undemocratic from some people, saying that these people were voted in democratically. And I'll say that with a grain of salt and probably hiding half my face laughing, because since 2019, there has not been anything democratically in this province that's been done. I guess, Melissa, we'll start with you. What made you guys start the recall?
Well, for me, it really took off with Bill 2. I am a teacher, and that was a huge impact on me. Before that, I had looked into the process before Bill 2 when teachers were on strike, put a bunch of teachers out of work and give them a bunch of time. And what are we going to do? We're going to get political, and we're going to start looking at ways to get involved. And so I found out about the recall process, and I was following Jenny with the recall of Nicolaides. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I reached out and I started kind of getting some feelers out, like, if this was to happen in my riding, who might be interested? And a lot of people started getting back to me really quick about how that was something they were interested in. And sort of, yeah. And then when Bill 2 happened, I just was like, I'm not waiting anymore. This is happening. This is unacceptable. This is complete government overreach. And I'm not going to sit here and let this happen. So I got on it within the week. I guess that was the 24th or 28th of October. I submitted the paperwork on November 4th. So it happened pretty fast after that.
Excellent. Mona, what was your experience?
I had watched pretty much all of the Legislative Assembly on October 27th when they pushed Bill 2 through. And so I kept waiting for any of the MLAs. I mean, you hope that your own, but any of the MLAs to stand up and say, you know what, I think we just need to give this a little bit more time, a little bit more thought. Let's get a more rigorous debate going. I want to take it back to my constituents, give them an opportunity to see the legislation and to provide their feedback. And had they even done that performatively, right, just to kind of like, you know, make it look like they cared, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in today, you know. And I would quite frankly have a lot more respect for them. The fact that they sat there and did sweet fuck all. I mean, we heard from teachers who were in the gallery that Searle read a book the entire time and he just stood up and sat down when he was asked to. So I was basically sitting in front of the TV watching the news. You know, it was the day before the teachers went back to school and just thinking like, how are these people going to do this? This is insane. And I thought, you know what? Screw it. How hard can it be? I naively thought it was going to be $500 to sign up, maybe $200 in photocopying at Staples. And we just, you know, give it a go. Meanwhile, I'm running an entire political campaign. But yeah, so that was my sort of start with it.
Sarah, what was Derek's experience and you and the team?
Yeah, well, Derek, as it's been publicized, is also a teacher. He's a principal. He's been accused by our MLA on social media because she didn't actually write a rebuttal. She was allowed to write something to go on the back and saying why we shouldn't recall her. She never submitted anything. She just put on social media and blasted him there and tried to say it was unprofessional for us to be politically engaged, but it wasn't. Basically, a lot of what I've been hearing from you ladies as well, we were hearing these conversations, you know, like, why are things the way they are? Why is our lives not getting better under this government? And like for myself personally, I have a child who is trans, who's an adult, so thankfully not being hit as hard by some of these things. I have a daughter on age who is getting hit pretty hard by these things. Mm-hmm. I'm a teacher. I'm special needs. I also have addictions issues, which are being impacted by care that I'm able to receive. My cost of living is ridiculous. So many reasons. It's just like I couldn't go to sleep at night anymore without feeling like I'm waking up in one of those dystopian novels that I always read. You know, I joke that I live in a dystopian fairy tale. My husband creates AI for fun and I try to overthrow governments, but it's what I can't just sit here anymore. And I know Derek was feeling the same way. We have to do something. And so he put out some feelers and we were able to crowdsource that $500 in less than 12 hours.
Nice.
And I mean, the momentum has just continued from there for us.
Yeah, we had less than 12 hours. We had it, and it was just put out kind of through a word of mouth personal network. Yep. Here's what we're looking at doing. We had it. Boom.
And not all teachers. Like our small group of 7 of us who are organizing this. We even have people on our group who are unemployed. We have diehard UCP supporters who no longer are. Right. This is not just teachers. Just the fact that 3 of us of the 7 happen to be educators is just the way it is.
Yeah, I'm not a teacher at all. So
maybe a smart decision. No, I love my job.
In this province, yes, it would be a smart decision not go into teaching. So any of you that are going into post-secondary, do not take education. Take something about AI or something. No, I'm just kidding. Don't take AI. It's going to blow up.
Might be the same thing.
Oh boy, yeah. I totally understand where you're going through. My wife is on long-term disability. She's been a teacher for we've met in Northern Alberta. Then we moved. She's originally from BC. I moved to the island to be closer to our oldest. She taught there. BC went on strike. Okay, well, we'll go to Alberta. I could get a decent job at the time. It was a decade ago, so it's a lot different than it is now. And she could get work and whatever. Ended up getting a position, but it's just like everything, like with long-term illness, the circumstances for classrooms is not conducive for someone struggling with any sort of disability. And so when we're talking about before they go to the notwithstanding clause, which seems to be their fucking go-to for everything, the discussion was, number one, classroom sizes, of course. That's the big thing. I mean, like our youngest is in CASA classroom right now because of their anxiety and depression that they're dealing with. So they only have 8 students in that classroom, but it is a special class that deals with, got support. Like, it's a godsend, and not the God that the Christians are, but actual real God. But it's just a beautiful program. It has its negatives, of course, but they have to go back to stream in January. So we're already in transition time. So we're going from a kid who is part of the Alphabet Mafia, who was called a faggot and called different derogatory terms, and they have POTS and they have fibromyalgia on top of these things. So they walk with a cane, and they have people saying, well, you don't need the cane, because some days they can walk and some days they can't. And they're like, well, you're walking fine now. And 5 minutes later, they collapse on the ground. So it's like those sort of things are not dealt with. And that's in a special classroom. I can't even imagine what a regular classroom is right now. I mean, I know when I was in school, which is too many decades ago, we were like, if it was 30 kids in the class, holy shit, that's over. That's too many kids. We have to separate some kids and whatever. Now the average class is what, 28 to 35 students.
Well, and back in the day, like, because I think I'm the same vintage as you, I had classes that were in the 40s. But the difference is the kids in that class all spoke the same language. They were all within 2 grade levels of the content that was being taught. And there was a system in place of streaming things so that there was no inclusion. So right. The behaviors and the things that we see are very, very different. Like I teach music, so I see 600 kids every 2 days. My class sizes range from 25 in grade 4, and my band classes are bigger. I have a band class over 50, but that's what I want, because more the merrier once you're in a teacher-directed setting. But that's the same thing. I raise my arms, they play, they stop. That is not a regular classroom scenario, right? My grade 4s and 5s, in those 8 classes of kids, there's 17 languages spoken at home. I have 12 devices running at any given time for translation alone, right? I have a nonverbal student who doesn't have an EA this year because she's not a behavior problem. She's not learning, but she's not taking apart the room, right? So when you're talking about, we used to have, because I know other people, like, I was in a class of 40 and we did fine. Yeah, you did fine because everybody was like within this instead of like this, right? It's a different situation. That's what complexity means.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that whole thing is like, age ourselves, I guess, is we were the global majority. Like when you're looking at the global majority now are the ethnic diverse and like all the different diversities there. And like you said, that many languages, that's like, come to Alberta. Like, fuck, you've got a government that says, hey, everyone come to Alberta. We only want the Ukrainians, but everyone, we're going to tell you all to come. But we're going to support the Ukrainian people. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, 40% of the students in Rocky View schools are not born in Canada. That's our demographic.
Yeah.
And I'm Ukrainian too, so
sorry, send them all. I love it. I love the diversity.
But anyway, so I guess what the big struggle here, the people, like, especially from, what do they want to call? Because I was watching Jefferson, I don't know why, but he was talking to Barutz, and she was babbling on about how the AGM, we're not separatists, they're independents. I'm like,
I just watched that today, actually.
And I'm just like disgusted by, why are you giving a platform to people that are pro-separatist? Like this, it's not about we're making some choice or whatever. Oh, we want to separate Alberta. So number one, when we're looking at the petition that was signed by almost 500,000 Albertans that said that we want to stay in Canada. Why? I mean, I think we know why it's not being called to go to a referendum, because they know that they don't have the numbers. Like when I looked at the numbers, I think it was 18% of the population in this province wants separation. I mean, unfortunately, they're the loudest fucking morons that are out there, but that's what people are seeing. So when you have them trying to direct the message going that this is undemocratic and this is you're all teachers and you're all union and you're all NDPers and all whatever, can we explain to them that this isn't about colors, right? This isn't about NDP or UCP or whatever. This is about dictatorship and democracy.
Well, it's about unsustainable systems. I've been doing some research. I'm a musician. I've said that. I count to 4 for a living, but I'm delving heavily, the ADHD autism in me is delving into this. And I'm looking into the research. To create a sustainable system for policing takes 19 years. To create a sustainable system in healthcare or education takes between 12 and 15. When we have an electoral cycle that is changing every 4 years, and we have no checks and balances in place to protect that stability, as a culture, we need to decide, or society, these are some things that are very important to us and must stay stable. Healthcare, social services, policing, education. We just stick to those 4 to start, right? None of these are industries, right? These are all things that keep society going. And then we have to find ways to make them sustainable. Maybe having the new government has to have a 70% approval rating to, change anything. There's a lot of really cool theories out there. And I'm sure somebody with a degree in politics and not just me and good old chat GPT and my research skills. If I'm finding solutions in here, I'm sure there's other ways to do this. And for me moving forward with this, it isn't just about the UCP. It's about how do we make this better for our kids? Because this is not okay.
Maybe that's why they're going to get AI to write legislation now.
It might do better.
Oh boy, no. No, because see, the whole thing with AI is the fact that it's got all the advantage and disadvantage of access to everything in the world. So every idiot that puts through something onto line, AI has that ability to take it. And if they direct it to go find this thing that is like what they're doing in Alabama, or what they're doing in Arkansas, or what they're doing in Texas, and put it in Alberta, then
they already stole the curriculum for Virginia, and like other people who used our curriculums no longer do anymore, right? I know my husband, he creates AI. He has 3 that live in his office, and he's promised they will not get out. But I listened to him training them, and I swear I'm in my grade 8 classroom. Like, I'm not too worried about AI taking over the world, just because I hear him talking to them like I talk to my 6, 7 kids all day. So I'm like, dude, no, I don't think we're in any danger yet.
But it's the people that have the money behind the AI. And I mean, I've talked about that for like, if people need to understand, yes, Danielle Smith and the UCP and Take Back Alberta and the APP and all this shit is fucking dangerous here. But we're looking at a global, like, when people said, oh, there's a cabal that freaking controls the world, there is, but it's a cabal of 3 or 4 companies that own everything. And when people start to realize, holy shit, we only have a choice between 4 companies, as BlackRock, Blackstone, they're 4 American. Basically, they're basically finance, like trading companies or whatever. But they own everything. They have pieces of everything. Like they have, like 3 of them own one group of networks of our media. The other group is owned by this. So out of those ones, and of course it's Musk and it's Thiel and all those shitbags that have invested into this stuff. So that's where I'm scared of the AI. When the fact that Peter Thiel, who is one of the most despicable pieces of garbage on this planet, is directing things. And it's sad because the man's gay. He's a gay man. How the hell do we have a gay man that wants to take away trans rights and just have a white national. Like I don't understand, how can you be Hitler if you're a gay man? I mean, there's one of those questions that is just out there. Anyway, see, the ADHD has caught me there, and so I'll just again bring the train of thought back to the state.
Rabbit holes, yeah.
Yeah, too many rabbit holes. But anyway, the point being, though, is the fact that I totally agree with you, Sarah, with our system, and I'm going to use the scary word, socialism. That is what people need to understand. We're not talking about the communist regime that is Putin and all this other stuff. We're talking about a social democratic system. So not just straight socialism, but a social democratic system. I never want to see a majority government in Canada again, because a majority government just is able to do the shit that the UCP is doing. I want a coalition government. That's my goal, is to have representation from all, and to have a representation, like you said, with that checks and balances, where this is where parties. When we look at I would say independence, right? So I would like to eliminate the parties and have everyone run as an independent. So then you are actually representing your district or your constituency, as opposed to just going there and saying yes or no, whatever Daniel Smith has told you to do, and making sure you've got the 48 votes or the 46 votes, whatever the number is.
If you want to bring stakeholders in too, you could have those different groups have to have a certain amount from each industry involved. Like, honestly, my biggest fix for the government that they could do right now, and it would save them millions because they wouldn't have to do panels. If you have a portfolio, I don't care if you're the UCP or you're in the shadow cabinet, you have to spend 5 days a month in the industry you represent. Get your ass into your industry. The oil field would look different. School would look different. Policing would look different, for fuck's sakes. This is all we need to do for now.
Yeah.
This, if we could get that happening, it doesn't even cost you money. I mean, and we look at what Angela Pitt has billed for expenses. She's billed more than Daniel Smith this year. Right?
Wow.
Twice what Guthrie has charged for mileage and things like that. I'm sure she has lots of reasons to go to the city. But no, I'm sorry, sweetie. This is not how this needs to work. We can save money, because isn't like the core definition of conservative fiscal responsibility, transparency, valuing education. This is not conservative government.
Oxymoron, right? Progressive conservative, fiscal conservative. That's just an oxymoron, because it doesn't exist. Like, you can say progressive conservative, but that's not like what we had as progressive conservatives. As much as Brian Mulroney was a piece of shit, literally, in that government, that was a hell of a lot less scarier than the shit we have now. Like, when
I was 4 years old, I told him there were no conservatives in peanut butter, and I've never lived that down. Preservatives, conservatives, what's the difference, Mr.
There's no real difference, but the point being is like where we're looking at it, I guess the other thing that they could do right now that would change the thing would be to add a Senate that's actually elected, but the key to that would be that 75% of that Senate has to be Indigenous.
Ooh.
Then you have the Indigenous representation, and then we have what we have federally, where a bill has been put through, then it goes to the Senate for review, then it goes back to your legislature to finalize, then it goes to the Lieutenant Governor for royal assent. Right now, it's just a rubber stamp. And I'm so disappointed in Her Honor Lacani, so disappointed. I knew Lois Mitchell was a corrupt lieutenant governor. I'll say it straight up. She was part of oil and gas. She owned a marketing firm that had all the government contracts. And she stepped away from that, but her company was still making the fucking money. And because her husband was Mr. Football, she got the pass and was treated with all this respect and bullshit. But she was robbing people blind, and was the one who would just rubber stamp every bill that Kenny and the UCP put forward. So I thought, with Lacani being a member of the global majority, with a woman who is woman power and is about female rights, I thought we would have that. She goes and represents herself as a person of interest or a person of support for Indigenous, for the trans. but she fucking rubber stamped Bill 2. She rubber stamped Bill 7. She rubber stamped Bill 26. Like, this woman rubber stamped 18 bills in the previous spring session that destroyed our province. Like I said, 6 minutes and 58 seconds, the UCP government basically privatized our healthcare system because they knew they had the votes that they're just going to go and get royal assent. So I sent messages to everyone, said, hey, we have to stop this royal assent from going through. We've got a couple days. No, those bastards went and got her to come in the next day after they did a whole overnight session to rubber stamp it. Yeah. And sometimes it's not her rubber stamping it. Sometimes it's one of her people that are signing off on these freaking bills that are destroying our healthcare, our education, our whole economy. And we're supposed to just be okay with that. We're supposed to be okay.
The argument in favor of that, though, my husband, who is a UCP supporter. So when we have our conversations about this, he was like, well, no, of course they do, because royal assent is just a figurehead, right? Like, do they really have any power? And I think that's an important conversation to have, because Canada's independence is not completely independent either. No. Right? We've got all these ties, and it's complicated and messy, and that's okay. But
so I'll go with the secondary thing. If the royal assent is just a figurehead position and she's just rubber stamping shit, we don't need you. We don't need to pay your sorry ass salary. We don't need to pay the governor general to go and travel all over the fucking countryside and pay for their travel and pay for their homes and all this other shit. We don't need, if that's what you're going to say, that it's just a figurehead, then have Charles come and fucking look at some pieces of paper every once in a while and be done with it. But or actually have someone who actually has some sort of checks and balances to stop this. So it's like, okay, you can't, because contacting the royal family and say, oh, we don't get involved in anything political. Then you look at it going, well, we are the representative of the king and we are the ones in charge of providing royal assent. Just pick a fucking lane. You can't have we are the be all and end all. We can't do anything because we don't have any power. We're just a figurehead. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. So I mean, he's very disappointed in me and Lacani presenting herself as one thing and then basically just shitting on the province with the other. And it for me, it pains me because she's a woman of the global majority, and I don't, as a white straight man, I don't want to sit here and fucking bastard or like demonize or do anything to a female of the global majority. I want to uplift people that have been held down by colonialism and by the white supremacy. But when you have internalized white supremacy, clearly, I can't just sit back.
Right? And it's such a mess, the systemic issue. And I get why people can't wrap their heads around it, right? Because we've grown up in it. This is our system. Right? You know, my youngest, I have 5 kids. My youngest is biracial, and we lived in Wainwright, Alberta. And in 2020, when the BLM, all Black Lives Matter stuff all blew up, and, you know, all lives matter, right? Well, my little guy, right after George Floyd, he wanted to have a march. So we organized a little Black Lives Matter march, and we had death threats against a 7-year-old. And it just blew my mind that this is the world that we live in, right? And that people couldn't see, well, I don't behave that way. Well, we all matter. And I'm like, no. He's like, this house is the house that's on fire right now. Let's go deal with that and support them putting that out. Of course you all matter. You're all pretty, right? But it's just, I don't know. I've just dealt with the stupidity on so many different levels now. I'm just like, no, it doesn't devalue you to help other people. Yeah. Right?
I guess
I think too, you need to look at, why do they feel threatened? So one of the things we've had is, you know, being out with the recall petition. Mm-hmm. We've only been out a handful of days so far, but we are 3 middle-aged women standing there with clipboards, smiling and chatting with people. Yep. If that makes you mad enough that you need to threaten violence, or you need to call names, use slurs, swear, all kinds of things like that. If that makes you so upset, what does that say about you?
We won't comment on what it says about them, because then
Well, one of
people
our
get
reasons for our
mad.
recall is that Angela Pitt is unreachable. And
Yeah.
so on my little YouTube channel, I've been interviewing people who've actually met her, because I'm like, if I can't meet with her, let me meet with the people who did. And I'm trying to get, there's one guy, I think I almost have him convinced, his name's John. Please come on my little stupid show, my 568 subscribers. But like, dude, he's against everything we stand for. And I'm just going to let him talk. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to live stream it. I'm not going to edit it. But I want to have that conversation, because the moment we shut the conversation down, it goes underground. And that's when things become dangerous.
Yeah.
And if people don't believe it's going to become dangerous, we are seeing it. I mentioned this before. We had somebody sign up as a canvasser for the Angela Pitt, show up to a table to help support somebody, get in an argument with them, and end up pulling bear spray on the other canvasser. Right? We've had to have the RCMP involved with our own people because they're infiltrating. If you don't want to talk to us, go away. If you want to talk to us, step on up. We're happy to talk, and we're happy just to listen. And maybe we'll change our minds on some things too, because I'm always happy for an opportunity to learn.
Well, that's been my biggest thing with this recall campaign. It's about the information. It's about getting the information out there. It's about equal access to information. So the idea that we can't go to certain places and talk to people drives me crazy. It's totally undemocratic that we can't go and say, hey, this is what we're doing and this is why. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. Have a nice day. But some people want to have that information. Some people don't, necessarily get involved in politics. I hate that so much.
Well, not until it impacts them. But I don't see how it can't be impacting them. I can think of every one of my 5 kids has been negatively impacted in some way. It's hitting us, right?
Yeah. So, just this is the way we get the word out there. We're just, again, like you said, you're 3 women standing with clipboards. Well, my campaign, it's a lot of retired folks, which they're great because they're getting out there at all times of the day because they've got all this time, this is how they've chosen, because they care so much about this, that this is how they're choosing to spend their time, that this is something that means so much to them, that they're spending days of their retirement when they should be enjoying their lives campaigning, because they don't agree with what's going on in our government and they don't agree that we're being represented properly. So why can't we just share this word? And you know what? If you don't agree, that's fine. You can keep walking. And if you don't know, maybe there are questions. Maybe we can answer something. As I was doing my research, I was trying to put together bits of information for my canvassers about things that, Sawhney's been involved with or the UCP has done, just sort of like snippets, little fast facts in case somebody asks questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll just do like a fast facts sheet. I'll just do like a 1-pager. 3 pages later, I was like, I can't fit fast facts on one sheet.
No,
I can't.
You really have to make them targeted, like healthcare,
right? Even then, it was impressive how much stuff I could find that affects many people. Bill 40. So many people don't know about Bill 40 and how incredibly impactful it is, not just to the 22 organizations who are involved, that the advanced education minister now basically has carte blanche to say whatever they want and to override their codes of professional conduct, to break, change, rewrite, or ignore all of their rules, even if it means taking away safety protocols. That has huge implications on public safety. You know who introduced that bill? Rajan Sawhney, when she was the Minister of Advanced Education.
Well, and they're really subtle about it. They accuse us of weaponizing things, but I mean, and so maybe we're just playing the same game as them. I know when I'm trying to find common ground with people, and I'm kind of a sarcastic bitch, I guess, in some ways, but they'll be like, oh my gosh, this is undemocratic. I'm like, well, I guess we can agree that the UCP put through some stupid legislation. Like, we're just doing what they did. Like, took from 1938 till now to decide to try this again, right? But here we are.
I just can't understand how people that keep screaming about rights and fucking freedoms don't understand that this woman is taking away your rights and freedoms.
And that rights and freedoms come with responsibilities.
Yes.
It's like, oh, it's cancel culture. No, it's consequence culture. That's what I want.
My rights extend as far as my fist reaches your nose. Once I impact you negatively, we're done. Right? That's how this works.
Yeah.
Thank you for your grade 9 social studies lesson. You just had that. Like they were all
it's
talking though. That
yeah,
people
it's
were
the
yelling
end
at
of your
us. We were
nose.
talking when we were teaching.
The end of your nose is when your rights end, right? So
Yes,
if you are
exactly.
in my space, I mean, number one, give me my COVID space. I want my 6 feet. I'm pissed off that you aren't giving me. Anyway, I'm just.
You're not a moose length away from me. No,
Yes,
I actually,
exactly.
one of my canvassers was annoyed at me because I told somebody not to sign because they didn't know. They were just going to sign because they were walking by. And I'm like, why do you want to recall Angela Pitt? She didn't even know who Angela Pitt was. I'm like, you need to go and read this and then you can come back and sign.
Yeah.
But I'm not, because that's not what we're about.
No,
No,
it's
and
not
the
about
Pushing
getting.
people in. We want informed consent.
The
have to
education
help
piece is
inform
so key right now because so in our constituency, there is major gerrymandering going on. So for those of you who don't know, Spruce Grove sits here. We have about 41,000 people. Stony Plain sits here. They have about 20,000 people.
Yeah.
We are like a kilometer apart, not even. And the city boundaries and the town boundaries are basically our constituency. We have all kinds of shared interests in terms of infrastructure and funding and things like that. Searle quietly on May 21st this year sent an email to the Commissioner for Electoral Boundaries asking to split us in half. Because according to him, Spruce Grove, with the 41,000-ish people, has more in common with the west end of Edmonton than we do with the community that we have shared infrastructure and interests and I mean, all kinds of stuff going on. That's less than a kilometer down the road. And he wants to dump them off into a rural riding that includes like much, much smaller centers. And so that education piece, we have printed maps. We have printed the emails that he sent to the Electoral Boundaries Commissioner. We've printed pages of the report that are relevant. People have until December 19th to submit like their next round of suggestions. But basically, especially for Stony Plain, to say like, listen, he doesn't actually think you're worth being an MLA for. He thinks that you are so little that you should be off in this rural riding and that you have nothing in common with the greater Edmonton area. It's a big slap in the face.
Well, the Airdrie East riding is urban and rural, and we're finding that that's being a bit of a challenge getting out to the rural people because their interests haven't been represented well to begin with. And so they're really disengaged from the political landscape in a different way than those of us who are living in the community that's growing and expanding, right? So I think there's and I taught 20 years in Wayne, right? So rural, and now I'm teaching in an urban center. So I feel like I'm in a good spot to compare the two. They're night and day. Like some of the issues and things that we have in the rural situations are very different than what you're going to have in urban, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think too, like part of that sort of education piece is letting people know. So the Electoral Boundaries Commission actually says that the average size of a constituency in Alberta should be about 57,000 people, give or take 25%. Okay.
Right.
Ours sits at about 62,000. It's not a population issue. Why are we splitting?
I'd have to look at ours, but if ours would be over that because Airdrie itself, I mean, it's Airdrie East, but it's the larger part of Airdrie, and we're over 90,000.
Yeah.
That's
and I know a lot of people will blame it on the fact that, oh, you know, we've had such huge population growth. No, we're still within that sweet spot. We have no reason to split. So what's his motivation?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Those 5 constituent days he has to spend a month in his office must just be draining. He must be over,
right? I think I have talked to more constituents in this last weekend than he probably has in over 6 months. Honestly.
Definitely. Yes. Yes.
Unless there's some sort of rodeo or parade or some other bullshit thing that they can pretend they're giving an award for, you don't see your MLA.
And then I had to keep my mouth shut because I love my veterans and it's not about this. But man, I actually didn't go to our town one because I knew she'd be there. And I just couldn't. It just the hypocrisy of the whole thing. Just I couldn't. I won't behave.
See, we have shit cookies as our MLA. I know that you could paint a fucking fence blue in this area and they would vote them in. So we know that she's not going to be one of the ones. She should be run out of fucking the country, but there's not going to be enough votes to get rid of her. So I know, of course, Smith and Medicine Hat is huge. Nicolaides with Jenny.
I think he's typical.
I think that's that. The big one is going to be Red Deer, north and south. I understand, like, knowing because I worked for Canadian Blood Services as a territory manager in Red Deer. I was fourth in the country for collections 2 years in a row. Anyway, I connected with them. I was also the director of marketing for the Lacombe Athletic Park Association, so I have connections with all the money people in Red Deer area. I know why Lagrange is in there. Unfortunately, it was based on a decision by one of the doctors from Red Deer Hospital who ran as an Alberta Party candidate instead of NDP or something else. And they didn't want the Alberta Party at the time, so they voted her in. Her direct connection to Lynn Radford, the mafia queen of Alberta sport, and the Donald family. Jack is dead, but Joan has all that money that they got from Parkland Industries. So every gas station and company under Parkland Industries, they're still making dividends off the board. So millions upon millions of dollars are in Red Deer that are going into Lagrange and Pocket. The other side, Stefan, who is the evangelical supporter and has home church and all those shitbag fake Christians to cover him. So that's the fight here in Central Alberta. You guys, I think I agree. Nicolaides is one person who could be tipped. Is there any other MLAs you think that are open for removal?
What's the name of the lady who called the person a motherfucker? Because I think they're out for her hardcore.
Tanya.
She's Calgary, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're out for her. You know, and honestly, Angela Pitt, I think we could. I mean, we're a quarter of the way in with our signatures. That's huge, I think, honestly.
Huge.
I mean,
absolutely huge.
Because Derek would be here going, we're going to make it. And I'm like,
that's massive.
No,
yeah.
If we're disrupting everything, I'm happy with that, right? Like, so him and I'll say that personally because I know the whole group isn't on the same page as me on that one, right?
No.
For me, I just want change. And sometimes change happens in steps, right? And the more of these people that we make uncomfortable and we hold accountable and we show them that democracy is of the people, they are in our house, then that's where the power is going to be to make changes moving forward. Because I don't think that it's any particular party in power is going to fix this. Like I've said, the systemic issues are too big. We need to revamp how we're doing things. But this is a good start.
I was going to ask you guys, when you're out at a signing station, have you found that there are people signing who you never would have thought of signed? Like somebody walks up to you. So I'll give you an example. Somebody walks up to me. It's a guy, he's got his Carhartt's plaid shirt on, you know, dart hanging out of his mouth, whatever. And I'm like, great, this guy's going to come yell at me. This is going to be fantastic. He gets to the table and goes, God, I'm glad you're doing this. We got to get rid of this guy. Have you had any of those?
Oh, so many. Like, so many. I voted UCP and I never will again. There's this lovely lady. Her first name's Rebecca, and she's a mom in our community. And her and I have gone head to head on social media. She goes to my church. We're both Mormon. And we've had all these conversations over the years. And she has switched so hardcore. She is like writing the biggest praise posts of what we're doing and helping and turning. She has turned probably more people over to like why they need to be aware of what's going on than a lot of us who've been yipper-yappering all these years, right? And and I've seen the power of that. It's amazing. But do you know how much courage it takes to say I was wrong? Right? Like
100%. And I'll be the first
for that. I'm like, thank you.
I voted
for a
for
married man.
Searle. I voted for Searle in 2019. We had a terrible NDP representative here. He was like some guy who I think he was in university, and I don't know if he ever know how to do anything. He just kind of got put in place. And we voted for him. He was a city councillor. He, you know, seemed like an okay-ish guy. And I mean, to be fair, he was out there painting rainbow crosswalks in 2019. I got the photos to show it. He was sticking the trans stripes right on the sidewalk or on the street, the crosswalk. And in 2023, we didn't, because I knew that Danielle Smith had gotten the leadership, and I thought, this isn't good. And, you know, it's not so much even, I think, to say I was wrong. I think it's to say that they're not what I thought they were.
Yeah.
Because they have obviously changed in a lot of ways from what they said that they would do and what they ran on.
Well, and look how easy it is for us to pull up any one of the people we're trying to recall and find them saying that they were in support of recalls a few years back.
Oh, God, yeah.
Right? Like, it's Nicolati said to Jenny, he said that he doesn't take direction from his constituents. He says he takes it from the party. That's how their whole first interaction went sideways, right? That's not democracy.
No.
I'm sorry. That's the fundamental issue there.
Yeah. Sawhney has said exactly the same thing in meetings with her, that she will never vote against the party. Doesn't matter what people have said to her, she will never vote against the UCP party.
And that's why we need to get rid of the UCP party. That's the thing, is the fact that if you're the power behind this, then that power needs to be removed. And
look
it's
what they do to the people who stand up to them.
But it's not Danielle Smith. I mean, as much as Marlena is a see you next Tuesday, she's just the power broker in play, right? Right now, we learned quite quickly in 2023 of who held the power. And it's not fucking that idiot Take Back Alberta's Parker. He's just another minion. It's guys that are behind the scenes that are like Sylvester is a dangerous bastard. It's these people behind the scenes that are part of the APP, that are part of Take Back Canada, that are part of these underlying, like, insidious, shitty organizations that go to communities that have colonies that like can talk to Hutterites and Mennonites and say, oh, well, we want to go back to old school values. We want to go back to making things great again. Nothing was great in the first place, but but there's just lies and deceit and shit that they're spewing. And because there isn't a message coming out, because unfortunately, the only opposition message we have right now is Nenshi and the NDP, and they have dropped the ball more times than any shitty football player that I've ever seen in regards to you talk a really good game. I mean, Nenshi actually doesn't talk a really good game. He's in there babbling or whatever. But the fact is, you guys all say, oh, we support this. And I said, I don't disagree. I don't disagree that Janice Irwin as a person supports these things. But Janice Irwin as a politician puts her tail between her legs and walks away. I mean, if you don't have the majority, then you sit there and get arrested in the fucking ledge and standing up for the rights of Albertans. Like, we can't get in the ledge. We have we're not allowed in there. We're in the gallery, and we said something that was deemed irresponsible, or I wore a shirt that said, I don't like the UCP, or I'm with whatever, I'd be thrown out. Like, so they're the only ones that have the voice that can actually, or the two independents. Like, where the hell are you people? Like, that's great that you have these clips and your sounders and doing all that stuff for the media,
and they show up to the events. Because then she shows up at a teacher's event, and you think the Pope walked in. Like, and
it's fantastic that you're there for the visuals, but it doesn't do anything. Like, you're just playing politics. It's like, people need to understand, and this goes back to my enjoyment of wrestling. This is pro wrestling. Like, when Trump got in 2016, how did he get in? He got in because of his friendship with Vincent K. McMahon. He WWE'd Hillary Clinton. He made sure that she was hated and she was the heel, and he turned everyone, I'm the hero, I'm going to do this shit. And he's not going to do any of it because he's a piece of garbage. So that's what the UCP did in 2019. They did the same thing. Oh, we're not the NDP. We're doing this, and I'm going to yell at you, and you're going to yell at me, and we're going to take the high road. Well, you're not taking the high road, because behind the scenes, you're cutting everyone off at the knees, changing every law in this bloody province. So by the time people realize it, there is no voice. You can't voice anything. Like we can't do any sort of gathering or any sort of protest without booking the space publicly. Like legally, it's against the law to protest,
Yep.
which I guess the whole concept of protest is disruption. So it's true, but
Yeah.
they put that bill in place to prevent anyone from gathering.
Yeah, I jokingly always make sure I'm like, you got my bail money? Like when I go out, is there someone who can pick up my kid if I get arrested at this thing? Because I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. I don't know if any of you attended the town hall or whatever you want to call it, the phone thing. Yeah, I didn't go to all of it because I didn't think I could get through it and maintain my sobriety. But her parting comment was something along the lines of, we don't need to worry about the boards. They're going to be our problem now. And everyone was like, what does that even mean? Well, here's the thing. You know how you're like, you see canaries in the coal mine, you're like, that word's important. So they took public out of school divisions. Now they can, and when they did that, they said it was to unify the names across the province. So it's Rocky View Schools, not Rocky View Public Schools.
Yes.
Now they can appoint their school boards. They've just been waiting for this. This is a very well-developed plan. And if we want to say the UCP is stupid, they're not. But the problem is Albertas aren't either. And they've underestimated us. We're really intelligent human beings. And we really care about each other. They don't. And I don't think they're counting on that.
Which you saw with the Forever Canadian campaign. As much as I was the person, went and got signatures. We went to Lacombe Pride, did the whole thing. I've got very big issues in the fact that they're still fundraising for and selling shit to raise money for whatever this is when the campaign is over. That kind of frustrates the hell out of me.
Will it roll into the referendum stuff at all? Is there any, like, I don't know enough about that part of it.
I don't think.
I don't know what they're, so for Recall, I thought as of, I was going to say, I thought as when you hand in the signatures, you can't fundraise, but no, it's like there's a period of time afterwards that you can still like do promotional materials and get TPAs and whatever.
Well, and we're far more regulated than an electoral campaign, or that would be, right? And everyone keeps trying to fiscally knock us down. I'm like, no. The reason you don't know about this is because it hadn't happened since 1938. So fair. Like, I'm not upset you don't know, but listen, this is how it works.
And I have to say, what we're doing is actually, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people would agree, more difficult than running it as an MLA. And here's why. If I was to go run it as an MLA tomorrow, I have a party backing me. I got slick graphics. I got somebody who's going to fire up a website. I got established donors. I got signage that's just ready for me to pick up and stick in the ground. That all happens. I've got talking points. I've got a platform. I've got, that's all there. And we literally had nothing. Like, we started day one, $0 in the bank account, and just like me and my laptop on the couch. That was it.
Yeah, we're doing all of our own promotional stuff. And actually, I'm having a lot of fun with it. We're doing a daily playlist, and every day it's like a different, like for the day where we're in lack of representation, then it plays Adele's Hello. Or for the oversized classroom, we've got Under Pressure. Or when they change the curriculum, oops, I did it again. I'm having a lot of fun with this sort of radio station we're putting together. But we have to do all of it, right?
Yeah, it's just...
People don't understand, and even to get the money for you guys, like I've had to register as a third-party advertiser. I had to put in registration to provide funding to the Recall Stefan and Recall Lagrange.
Well, you have to live in our area. You have to have the same postal code, because that's what we have to keep track of, is the postal codes.
Yeah. If you're a third-party advertiser, you don't. You can actually, but you have to file with Elections Alberta, and you have to do a initial registration for every recall you want to support. So when
I was going to say TPA too, you have to submit regular support, like expense supports or reports. So like, even if you spend $0 in this time frame, if you don't submit that report saying $0 to Elections Alberta, you'll be in a world of trouble.
$500 fine with the letter of reprimand, and potential up to $10,000. They don't piss around, especially with the new Gord McClure. Is as much as a lot of people don't know about him, he actually is following the rules to a T, where the other one was not. Like, if you go onto the website, a lot of the decisions that were made, including the one where they targeted me, is not up there. So
I
the
don't have a
fact that
problem with the high level of accountability. I just think it needs to be across the board, right? And the level
exactly,
of
but
transparency
they're
that we're expected as private citizens to provide is unprecedented. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, right? I have nothing to hide here. We have nothing to hide here. We have this, the Duds is the store, and they are giving us like indoor space. We can come anytime we want. They've given us keys, right? And they made us these little yellow hats for all our canvassers. Well, boy, did that cause problems. Oh, you're selling merch. No, my friends, right? Like, and even if we were, here's the, like, it's, I don't know. I'm happy to provide
Danielle
educational
says you can
moments.
sell merch.
I don't think we
Sorry,
are.
Well, the
what's that,
idea that so many people are spreading that we're union backed, that we're NDP backed. I can't even tell you the last time I spoke with an NDP MLA
Well-funded leftist.
or well-funded. Yeah,
I'm
that
not
$500 fee is on my line of credit right now because
that's another oxymoron, right? It's like
And,
fiscal conservative, well-funded leftist. It doesn't
yeah.
work.
No.
Nope.
And yeah, I am part of a union. It's an association, actually, the Alberta Teachers Association, because I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
But
And our union needs to do better education on that.
well, there's no funding from them. They separate themselves from this as much as they can, and in so much as that they would never take that bias. As individual citizens, we are allowed to act how we want, and we are allowed to act as individual citizens and take opportunities like this and get involved like this. But we have nothing to do with the unions and nothing to do with the NDP. This isn't a political thing. I am an individual citizen who was not happy. I connected with other citizens who were not happy. I heard from other citizens who are not happy. I've heard from over like 1,000 people have reached out to me at this point to tell me how unhappy they were. It has nothing to do with any political party. This is all completely grassroots. And
Well, and the thing I don't understand about the whole NDP sort of hoax or conspiracy theory that they're behind this. Okay, so let's say hypothetically they were, right? And they were in here organizing us and funding stuff and whatever. We get to the referendum stage and we get to the by-election stage. Then what? Your MLA can run again. I mean, it can be anybody. It can be somebody, an independent. It can be a UCP candidate. It can be a marijuana party candidate. It can be anybody. It can be a liberal. I have zero control over who gets elected.
exactly.
My only job is to make sure that people are, number one, aware of what their MLA has been up to or has not been doing. And number two, do they agree with it or disagree with it? Correct. That's it. That's the end of where my responsibility is. After that, I actually don't care what happens.
That's the biggest thing I've said to canvassers in my writing as well. Like, if somebody's on the fence and say, or somebody says, "Oh, you're just trying to get the NDP elected," I can't actually do that. All I'm doing is saying our current MLA is not doing a good job, so we want to recall them, which will give everybody in this riding an opportunity to vote on who they would actually like to represent us.
I don't think I know who the NDP person for my area would be. I don't think I know their name.
I don't either. And you know what? If we had an election tomorrow, I honestly don't even know who I would vote for. I'm pretty disgusted with everybody at this point.
Yeah, I'm
like, this is so nonpartisan that I mean, it's an easy thing to blame it on, right? It's an easy thing to say that this is the orange boogeyman behind this. It's not. I mean, it's just, it's a crazy, easy.
So with all that being said, we're going to show everyone here, this is this beautiful thing that was done for the UCP AGM. I'm just sad that this is how society's become. Anyway, enjoy. This is a person that you could maybe vote for in the upcoming election.
He once rode across the plains of Alberta on a buffalo to attend the UCP annual general meeting in Edmonton. He first gave an interview to Rebel News. He told them Alberta's independence was coming soon. He met with Mitch Sylvester from the Alberta Prosperity Project, and Ottawa immediately got nervous. He shook hands with Chris Scott, met Ava Chipiuk and Danny Bulford, legends of the Freedom Convoy. Jason Levine interviewed him. and Alberta's independence movement gained 3 percentage points instantly. He discussed the new constitution with Jeff Rath and Keith Wilson. The hardest part was not overusing the word freedom. He doesn't want to fix Canada. He wants to free Alberta. He is the most Albertan man in the world.
There you go. So that's who you could vote for, is this person, the most Alberta man in the world, who seems to have shown up at the UCP AGM and kissed Eva Chapiak, and
I might have said you out loud at that point.
I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, what the hell has become of society? And they're fighting over this. Someone created a fake account to claim that they're actually this person. I'm like, this person is AI. Can you not figure it out? This is all fucking fake.
Watch his hands though. I was watching his hands. There's parts where he has extra fingers, I think.
Yes.
That's always the AI tell. So I'm always looking it up. I have grade 8.
It's like, this is AI. So this is what they're creating. This is what the most Alberta man. I'm going, oh my God, you spent this much time to create, and you took video, and you had people that are supposed media. We know Rebel Media is not media, or Levine's an idiot too. But anyway, people that claim that they're media to actually play this whole thing. We interviewed this man. You interviewed AI. What the
They didn't even need to make it AI. They have no shortage of middle-aged white men in that party. I mean,
more naturally.
You got Whistle Stop Chris
why would
right
you
there.
make it AI?
Just put a cowboy hat on Whistle Stop Chris and pretend he's the most Albertan.
Right? Like, what a waste of money.
Oh, but it's not. That's the sad part, is because these morons are getting Alberta Rise of Alberta, whatever the hell they're using as their grift this week. They're getting idiots to buy their shitty merchandise and all their other stuff. And
well, I would have fun parodying that, because that's one of my hobbies, is I do song parodies and things. And yeah, that's why I get all the copyright strikes on my YouTube, is because I take other people's music. But Megan Trainor wasn't nice to teachers, so I didn't feel bad about taking hers. But media versus media. Like this is a question, if I could bring up.
Yeah.
Angela Pitt only responds on social media, right? They only talk to Rebel News. They only talk to what they want to call news.
Yeah.
And they stay out of the mainstream. Like, I don't know. I want to explore that, because it's interesting to me. Is it safer for them? Is that why?
100%.
Right?
So what it is all those media companies are connected under the Canada Strong and Free Network, Preston Manning's Manning Foundation. So all of them are under that bubble. So with they will support every conservative. They're funded by the conservatives. Like, everything is that, and then funded by those evangelical churches. And not if I offended anyone, Mormon or actual religion, I apologize, but we're talking about the fake.
I just see, from where I'm standing, Jesus would do a lot of things differently, but that's just me.
Jesus, like I said, there's a lot of tables Jesus would be flipping right now.
Yeah.
They sure as shit wouldn't be sitting here collecting money at them. So that's the difference between when we're learning about the religious piece, is what they're presenting, and this is where this whole thing of, we want to change the rules so we can add more religion. No, you want to add white Christianity and Christian nationalism into our education system.
It's not about.
And so that's back to your question about the media.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is they are protected. And the unfortunate part is, and this is where I'm very disappointed with our federal government, because they're not regulating these people. Like, what was True North Media, which is now Juno Media or whatever. True North Media is run by Candace Malcolm. And Candace's husband is the second in command at Shopify. And so they invested in this organization. This organization is about foreign support of refugees and foreign whatever. This is what they're an actual charity that supports supposedly refugees,
right?
Which presents them with news and political propaganda saying we need to get rid of the foreigners and we have to make this white national. And I'm going, how the hell are you still a charity and qualified to do this and still put out this bullshit propaganda.
And refugees are the wrong demographic to go at. That's less than 3% of our overall immigration.
But it's just like the separatist bullshit. This is the same. I want them to call the referendum. I want them to call it and vote on it, because I know damn well that they will not get the votes. There's no way in hell there is more than 2 million people in Alberta that want to separate. It's not there. Yeah. So you know that is the weapon. That is the weapon for Danielle Smith. That's the weapon for the UP, the APP.
So how do we bridge that though? Because like of all the news people that I've spoken to, 4 out of 5 of them have been CBC, right? And you could argue that CBC is in our corner because there are people, right? They're very socialist. They're very about the
some are
word. They aren't right. So my husband doesn't consider CBC news because he thinks it has too much bias, right? Mm-hmm. So when I'm only talking to them about our issues, I feel like I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm staying where it's safe. I'm not going to get hit with a ridiculous question by CBC. If they did, I'd be impressed, but that's fine. Hit me with it. But how do we get out of this stupid spiral we're in, like, so that we can actually have a conversation? Because if Angela Pitt's only going to talk behind this facade and we're only going to talk behind this group of people, I don't know.
Well, this is why I built Allegedly in Alberta, is to have these conversations that can get out to various things. That's why we're on Rumble, because I know that it's Trump supported, whatever. But if we can get one of the people that are conservative that are watching this to go, oh, they're actually making some good points. Like, this isn't about fucking being like making everyone orange or like pushing big socialism. This is about pushing freaking for community and like, oh, I want to have a good education for my kids. I want my kids to be able to be successful and not be having to use the system because they have no skills. Like, I don't understand how we can support, not we, because I believe that all of us on this platform right now are in agreement in regards of, like you said, those, I believe in having your basic necessities taken care of. You have proper schooling, proper health care. The people that, if you have those things, like if you look at like Smith always goes, oh, Sweden and whatever, I'm going, but those countries are social democracies. They tax they tax through the nose, but see, I would have no problem paying more taxes if I actually got services for the money that we're being taxed. You're already taxing the shit out of us and we get nothing. Like when you're cutting everything to the bone and then saying, well, you have to pay more for this. Why the hell would I want to do that? Why would this whole thing about privatizing healthcare? What people need to understand is the fact that we've always been in a 2-tiered system. Actually, we've been in a 3-tiered system. And let me explain. Your top tier is your athletes for the, like in Alberta here, the Flames or the Oilers. So any sort of injury or any sort of medical, they have their doctors, they have everything on hand. They jump the queue to everything. Then you have the people that are your wealthy and your elite who can jump the queue by paying their way in. Then you have your third tier, which is your public health care. With the new system, with their silos and all this other shit, we're gonna have a 5-tier healthcare system, which you have your elites from your athletes and your celebrities. You have your wealthy. You have your average, I'd say middle class, but there's no such thing as middle class, so we say upper lower class. Then you have your lower class. And then you have your people that are the most vulnerable, your houseless, your people that are on AISH, and
they're going to get status is pending. Like, they're going to get. You have to renew your health care, or you're going to lose it. Thing is going to save the money because there's going to be people who aren't going to be able to get that done.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like when we're looking at our social services, and you have to have a physical address to get any sort of funding, right? So how is that supporting anything? It's not. Like, we know that if we actually built affordable housing, we provided food, we provided a universal living wage, not a basic income. I was always about UBI. Now I'm about universal living wage. So why is someone who's a stay-at-home parent, why are they devalued compared to someone who's working in the workforce? You're doing the same amount of work. If you're doing work taking care of the kids, that they don't have to be in a daycare, or you're making sure they're healthy, you're not putting a burden onto our healthcare system. So
but those are the feminine, the highly like female dominated trades too, right? They say the teacher strike was a feminist issue, right? And when you look at the whole general strike, are they going to? The male dominated unions are not.
They're not fighting.
No.
They're not going to do it.
They don't have the balls.
And
Sorry.
that's
here's
that's the thing. So how are they going to get their way, or how are they going to get the people they want to be voted into if they don't have the balls to stand up for your average Albertan?
Yeah, it's like, we're here fighting, and now we need you to help us, right?
Yeah.
Like, whoops, I knocked my computer over. But it drives me a little bit nuts,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Passionate.
Yeah, Mona, you had a point there. Sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was going to say, look at the screen. 3 of us are women. I don't know how many out of the recall organizers are men. I know there's a few, but I know it's definitely a women-led movement. And even in the signing stations, I saw a woman on the weekend who came with her husband, and he signed too. And she came and whispered to me after, "You have no idea what a big deal it was for him to come and do this. I can't even believe it." She said, "He asked where I was going, and I told him, and he said, I'm coming too." She goes, "I'm shocked. I can't believe he came and wanted to sign."
Yay.
That's
so
awesome.
That doesn't tell you, I mean, it's fantastic. But if women are out here leading the charge and doing the brunt of the work, and if men even just agree with it, they need to be showing up in all kinds of ways for support. You know, one of the things that we adopted just this week is having signing station buddies.
oh,
Yeah.
you need
And
those.
for
When we get off
someone,
here, I will send you my safety list. I've been doing this a long time. I have a list of things you must have in place as canvassers, and that for your own safety. I'll share that with you guys, because it feels awful to have those conversations with your canvassers. Well, when this happens, or when, if you know, no, you need to know who's going to pull out the phone and start recording, who's going to make the call to 911. Do the RCMP, are they watching and knowing where your signing stations are? Because ours are, right? We've checked in with them. We know that they're doing extra drive-bys, right? Because we're not getting polite discourse, right? And that is a concern. I don't know why we can't just talk anymore and disagree. It's okay to disagree.
Yeah. I would happily have somebody come to me and say, "I disagree with what you're doing," and have that conversation with them, rather than somebody come and scream or yell. I'd say we've been very lucky, as far as I know. I keep checking my phone, and I've been checking my phone, because I gave my phone number to every single canvasser, and I said, if anything happens, if anybody comes to you and is mistreating you, harassing you, says anything inappropriate, immediately get away from there. Call or text me, get a physical description of them. And that's right in my canvassing rules. Just our most important thing is safety. So if somebody says, "Hey, I want to canvass at the spot, I need a buddy," I'm on my everything, like, "Hey, who's available to come to this place? Because we need to be in twos. We cannot be doing this alone. It's just not safe." And even the men in my group, and there are quite a few of them, but for the women especially, and a few of the women said, "If we do door knocking, I'm not sure I really feel comfortable." I'm like, absolutely.
So go in and look at who voted which ways, and find your more NDP friendly neighborhoods and send your women there. Because we've done that, like, just to make things a little bit safer. And you have to.
So
right?
how are you guys accessing that voter list then? Because I don't have access to anything like that.
We found it in the public records.
Yeah, that's where I got mine. Well, it was one of my volunteers had given it to me and had indicated it. So maybe
I can find that out for you, because it is helpful just to kind of have that demographic backing, right? Just to kind of guide you, because we're here to be successful. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is a game too, right?
Well,
and so
putting all this time and energy and effort into doing this to not be successful. So of course we want to,
Well, and I'm not in the business of pissing people off. Like, if I know that a neighborhood voted 85% blue, why would I go there and piss off so many of them? I'm going to target other areas first if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and the point here is like we have you three, two of you are recalling women. And the fact that these women are not looking at the fact that your safety is in
question.
Mhm.
Like, what the hell happened to society where, okay, yes, we're trying to eliminate you, fine, or whatever, but why are there not more women that are sitting there going, holy shit, like this is a democratic process. This isn't about we should be bullied and like.
And we don't care if you voted in the last election or not. We want to talk to you, right? Because I've also had that. Oh, I didn't live here to vote. Well, if you've lived in the riding for 3 months, you can sign.
Now
Right? If you are not 18
person.
at the time of the last election, but you are 18 now, you can sign the recall.
I think too, I don't know why people are so threatened. Like, if it was the trope that we're all out here with blue hair and nose rings and, whatever, like,
Tattoos.
nobody is screaming, nobody is shouting. We are not holding up giant banners and signs and, over
That's
a megaphone. We're
those are
literally
the people
standing
that
on the
are
side
attacking you
with clip-
are doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I don't
have
understand.
earrings when I go out, my like kitties and mugs or my sprinkle kindness.
I've got capybaras.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, I'm so threatening.
Oh, we're terrified.
I know.
I loved when they called us the militant, the militant teachers or the militant lefties or whatever yes.
Damn the patriarchy. They're going to take away our pockets again because we're going to carry pamphlets of sedition. Darn it. They're going to be on us. But we had a person come up to us during a teacher protest and was very, very aggressive. And we actually had to kind of walk him off. And I called 911 on that one. And when the cop arrived, he says to me, I didn't go lights and sirens because I knew it was a group of teachers. And if you can't de-escalate it, I'm not going to be able to. Like,
and if that isn't the truth,
hard. If that's the state of our classrooms, yeah.
They know. Everybody knows.
No.
We knew what to do. We put the men in front. We used our bodies. We knew what to do. We positioned the kids out of the way. Like, we knew what to do.
Yep.
We gave him an exit. We did not block his way out. Right. So, I mean, but unfortunately, those are things you have to learn through experience, I think, how to deal with those sorts of situations. And so.
And I mean, I will say, we've only been doing this a few days, but I have been very fortunate. I've only had 2 people out of a couple of hundred who were not happy. And this is what I shared with the municipalities too, when we were trying to get permissions and make sure that we're within the guidelines of what we can be doing within our cities and towns. We don't want to be pissing people off. We are not trying to cause issues. We are trying to be places that we are allowed to be. We just want to know what those are, right? And this is what I said to them. I said, I know that you guys see this as a political thing that's out there in the community, but I have to tell you, out of 200 and some whatever people that I've seen, 2 were upset. One was an older lady who told me she was sad about my life choices. And then one was a gentleman who just kind of just disagreed. And we just sort of agreed to disagree and he left. That was it. That was the worst we've seen so far.
We had one lady really lose her mind and another lady who wasn't part of our team went to bat. So we've watched other people have big conversations in front of us. The grocery store has been a touchy spot. So the brave canvassers go to the grocery store. But yeah, like even at the library, we were accused of, what'd they say? Oh, targeting vulnerable populations because we were at a library.
No, we're targeting the population. We want everybody to have access to what we're doing. We want everybody to be aware of it, not because we're trying to sway anybody, not because we're even trying to convince anybody. That's right in my canvassing rules as well. It is
just a coincidence we went to where the people know how to read.
Well, that's it, right? It's not our job to convince people, but it is our job to help inform people. And that's what we're just trying to do is, these are the things that maybe you weren't aware. Maybe you didn't know about Bill 40. Oh man, I could talk for a long time about Bill 40. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it's okay not to know.
Yeah.
Because the UCP has done a fantastic job of creating so many damn little fucking fires that we can't. Like I said with my own family, the trans issues, the AISH, the healthcare, I don't know where to start yelling. I at least know whether I should be yelling at municipal, provincial, or federal, which I know a lot of people don't. I spend a lot of time correcting that in the comments. I'm like, you're yelling at the wrong person. But it's okay not to know. When did it be okay when did it stop being okay to have to learn things?
Well, and I think too, even if these recalls, I mean, are nowhere near successful. I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, we're supposed to get 15,189 signatures. If I only get 2,000, that means that the majority of our constituency doesn't want this. And that's democracy at work too.
Yeah.
We are going with what the majority wants. I mean, and so
thank you for providing us an opportunity to learn. We're okay with this.
Yeah, right. I mean, the more educated, informed, and politically aware constituents that we have, whatever stripe or color they wear, the better and the more accurately we will be represented. So if me standing out here with my clipboard and talking about that our MLA is trying to split our riding in half, and I actually activate a whole bunch of people who agree with that, then that's a win, right? I mean, it's providing information and people will do with it what they will. We're not making up a narrative. We're not creating facts or anything like that. We're literally giving them, digestible pieces of hyper local issues to consider for thought.
Yeah, because it's not one global issue. Like they like to throw it at us teachers, and the Notwithstanding Act sure helped us out with our cause. But this is not all that it's about.
No.
Right? Like, I don't know. Maybe they can only think about one thing.
Even when we speak as recall organizers, some of the things we've chatted about are, trying to lighten the load for Elections Alberta. So if someone's got an answer to a question, all 20, whatever of us don't have to submit the same issue. But something that Jenny is doing in Calgary Bow is going to work for her, or that I completely don't agree with. And I think, I actually don't want to do that. I don't think that's going to work
in your area, because that's why we have the different areas, because we are a very diverse, diverse province.
This isn't just some broad paintbrush of, whatever. Every recall is going to be different, and it's going to be approached differently. It's going to focus on different local issues.
Yep. My metaphor for the UCP government goes back to the Wild Rose boob bus. Every time I think about her terrible decisions, I actually have it saved on my phone, and I just show people a picture of the boob bus. And if you don't know what I'm thinking about, someone should throw that in the comments, because it makes your day better. Because it's like, okay, this is the person we've elected. They're very pretty. They look like they're intelligent enough to do the job. They have credentials. But these are the people they hire to work under them, and then they don't fact check, and then they just show up and they're like, hello, here I am, but my boobs are bus tires. Oh, that was unfortunate. Right? Like, that just tells me.
I just went and looked it up now. Yeah, that's pretty good.
You remember that now?
It's delightful. When I laughed so hard at that one. But people don't fact check things like it's Castor, right? Castor has a high school. They let the kids pick the name for the team. They pick the Raiders. Put that together.
Yep.
The Castor Raiders. Yep. You need middle school teachers like me to catch these things, people, because, dude, I got it like 10 seconds in.
Yep.
Like, they did not. Oh, yeah, they did.
Oh, yeah.
Castor Raiders. Like, hilarious.
Yep.
Did they catch it before, like, the team jerseys were made?
Nope. They are to this day.
The Castor Raiders.
Castor Raiders. It's actually clever. I love it. I mean, I'm here for it. But I'm just the fact that people don't catch those things.
But in these big positions, these government officials have people who work for them that are advising them. So what are these people being paid for right now? What are they doing? Where are they getting their information?
Really?
Who are they asking?
Thought of a way to make the boob bus into a thing with the whole pornography slant she did. I'm gonna follow up on that later.
It moves me to think that they aren't. Who are they hiring in these advisory positions? Who are these advisory positions asking, or what is the experience of these people in these advisory positions? Because obviously they're not giving them correct information.
They have the money behind it to support their niche opinion. Like, it's not even facts.
Well, I mean, it was just proven. Why can I never bubble pop? Tall, independent media. What is her name? I can't remember.
Now I want to know what that.
That's her podcast, and she is Yeah, your enemy's worst enemy or something. Anyway,
Oh.
she was at Jesper. They leaked it. She said she was at an event. Well, it leaked out. It was Jesperson's Real Talks 5th anniversary party where fucking all the mucky mucks, whatever. And it was, and Jesperson said, I'm not going to say who it is. And then 2 minutes later, he's like, Becca didn't like, and I'm like, so Becca Pollock, who is been
Gilmore?
Yes, thank you, Rachel Gilmore. So Rachel is 6 feet tall, and is hated by many people because she has got a very strong opinion on many things for human rights. Becca didn't think she had those opinions. She thought she'd just be a girly girl and they could just pretend that they were friends. And Rachel laid into her at this Jesperson party, and it was uncomfortable or whatever. No, Rachel showed she had integrity, and Becca showed that she's a paid shill like everyone else under the UCP. So this is the problem. And I mean, with Becca Pollock is one of the main problems. So if you follow Becca's career, she was under the Kenny thing, then she went to BC and worked in the private sector, and then for one of the BC Conservatives. And then she came back and she's under the Recovery Alberta banner and managing communications or whatever under Marshall Smith, but Marshall Smith doesn't work for the government anymore. But there's, like, I did a whole 2-part show on the Shady Bunch and went through all the different people and how Marshall Smith is connected to this person and this person. Like, what people need to understand with Recovery Alberta, it's actually run by a doctor from Vancouver Island who Marshall Smith worked with, that has a recovery center, Cedars Recovery, in Cobble Hill, and is a doctor in Nanaimo. And when I knew him, I didn't know him as a doctor. I just knew him as this person. Anyway, he's the expert, and he's providing local service at all these recovery centers that he manages that are being paid by AHS or by the government of Alberta, whoever you want to say, yeah. Alberta Health. But it's a guy from BC that's running our Recovery Alberta. And they are private. It's all paid for by our tax dollars, but they're all private facilities.
I don't think, other than Ponoka, there's any publicly funded, like, detox recovery, those sorts of things.
And even Ponoka's,
those programs.
Even Ponoka's been railroaded into a private system. So there's ads on Facebook actually to go to this, and we're not affiliated with AHS, but
yeah, they only have so many AHS beds, I think is what it is, right? Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. So under this Alberta recovery program where it's forced therapy, and the fact that it was leaked that if you are have been in jail or have any sort of criminal record, you will not be allowed to be in these recovery centers.
So that's what, 60% of us? Like, I'm sorry, where does
it's like it's the comorbidities, right? Yeah. Like, we're going to do everything we can to ensure that we kill off the majority of our population. Yes, but we don't talk about eugenics or anything like that here, right? It's not like when they, like, the new law that they're trying to say that you can't sue them for fucking you over for your pension with AIMCO. That's the same lawyers that did the thing with you couldn't sue for your parents or grandparents dying in the health facilities from COVID during the pandemic.
The cover your butt lawyers.
Which, if people aren't aware, that there is a $10 million minimum retainer on lawyers across the country by the UCP government, that for each different sector of who needs to come in, and each one of those lawyers will be writing up the bills that all your MLA supposedly are presenting. They're written up by lawyers, and all that fucking mucky muck in the middle is where all the juicy bits are. They have lawyer speak to make you bored at the top of the 15 or 16 pages. Then the real information's in the middle, and then they have more lawyer speak. So you have to go through 35, 40 pages to get to the right page to go, holy shit, Bill 40 includes this, and this. Oh, but we're only doing this, and it's only if they approve this. And I'm going, no. Like
but we only changed the word private school to independent school. Like that's not going to change anything.
The Bill hate was the original one. This is where I got into the big fight with everyone. It was Matt, distract, deflect, deny. When Matt Wolf was the communications person, I went and I listed that just the comms people, and I think there was 32 of them at the time, were making $5.8 million in salary from the UCP government under Kenny. So I don't know.
I think she made more than anybody on AISH makes just for transportation costs alone that she's claimed. I could be wrong about what part it is, but it's one small thing. Transportation is one in my head.
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's just been the record of them, and they're claiming these things, whatever. So it's just, so when we're talking about, yes, it all goes back to politics, and this is where the disgusting part is, where, well, we can't be political. We can't have you in our private sector, can't be inside our malls or whatever doing anything political. We don't agree with that, but it's societal, right? Everything you ladies are doing right now is for society in general. It's not fucking for politics. Like, it has to be done through a political center, but it's for, like you said, going and getting a overall picture of what does the public want? What do the citizens of Alberta want? Because they sure as shit ain't getting it from the UCP.
And I think we feel really helpless with just the parties that we have to vote for. And I think, my husband says things like, well, I don't know why you'd bother because, and I get that, but I have a kid with autism who listens to Hamilton. I don't know if you're familiar with the musical Hamilton. Okay. So
our youngest loves Hamilton.
At the beginning of June, 6 nights a week, we have to start on song 1. I know Hamilton. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, he was listening to me talk to someone, and he says to me, used to think you were like Aaron Byrne, the talk less, smile more, right? Like, but no, maybe Mom, you're about to go steal the cannons. I'm like, getting a little Hamilton going here. But this is where we are, right? And then talking about managing that energy, because we want momentum, we want change, but we want to keep it positive. We don't want to become who they are afraid we are, and it's who I'm afraid they are.
Exactly.
The guns because violence has no place in this conversation. At all. We should be able to talk and disagree and go on about our lives. But everybody's voice should feel like it has some weight. And I don't know how else to get that across to the UCP other than using their own legislation against them.
I think one of the things too is to, like, if I can stand on a soapbox here for a second, regardless of what side you're commenting on social media or whatever, for God's sakes, can we make comments and share views without using, like I said, slurs, swears, ignorant language, name calling? Your point comes across a lot more effective. People will actually be able, as soon as I see somebody write something with the word tard at the end, I just stop reading, because I know that it might be fake. It might be, it's ignorant. Like, can we just use, regular language instead of calling each other names? And it makes me so upset to see on some of these recall pages that there's people who would be like supporters who are resorting to the same tactics.
I think you can swear, but just not at people, right?
Yeah.
Or I'll put in that box, although that's not one that changes it to. And either way, the thing changes ducks too. There's a couple of choices. It's always hilarious. I'm okay with that. But I think expressive language is important. But I think it's like my son called the N-word at a soccer match, and they were going to kick the kid out of the game. My kid got mad and said, no, because I'll be the black kid that ruins soccer for him. He didn't mean a hate word. He meant an angry word. And he just used it a hate word instead. Right. If my 12-year-old can figure that out, right, we all can figure this out, right? We need to use angry words instead of hateful words. It's okay to be angry. Our feelings are completely valid. Our response is not always.
Well, and that's the key, right? It's this whole thing, freedom of speech. I have no problem with freedom of angry speech. I have a huge problem with freedom of hate speech. Okay. And that's what when they're looking at, I have the right to say whatever. No, you don't. You don't have the right to say these things, because these things are directly attacking a person's rights and freedoms.
You're not free from the
Well,
consequences of your words. And those are the
fear of repercussion from their employers, I think, is one of the last threads that's holding social media together. If people no longer have fear of repercussion from your employer, it's just going to be a free-for-all.
It's going to be chaos.
Yeah. Though as a teacher, I must say, the Alberta Proud Dad, he's gotten some of the people calling the schools and stuff, and my admin's gotten calls. I'm like, good, I've pissed off the right people, I guess. I mean,
no.
they're not the people I'd want to be friends with, so I'm okay with that. But it's like, is there not a better way you could go about this?
Right?
You would think. You would think that with all the money that these people are making through their grift, that they would find something that would actually accomplish something. Like, I don't understand how you can do so much work to do so little effort. Like, you're useless to society with what you're doing. Like, there's no use to what you're doing. Like, firing people up or whatever, that's not useful. That's not, like, you can be angry and whatever, but then there has to be a time where it's like, okay, well, how do we change this shit? Not, you will follow the rules that we demand you to follow. No, it's like, I use the philosophy, don't be trash. Don't be transphobic, racist, ableist, sexist, or homophobic. If you're none of those 5 things, we can talk, we can have conversations. If you're any of those 5 things, fuck off and go away.
Those aren't opinions.
They're not opinions, and that's where we've lost it, is the fact that, I have the right to, it's my opinion. No. When you're using hate speech or you're affecting someone's livelihood, that's not an opinion.
Nope. If it impacts their safety, it's not okay.
It's not an opinion, and that's where we have to get. Like, if we're like, I agree with you, Mona. I really don't want to have to use shitty language at people. However, to get someone to actually listen, it's like you have to hit them with something. I'm not saying you call them a turd or like use some sort of thing. What I've learned is the fact most people don't want to argue with me because I'll come up with a fucking valid point or with logic, and no, you're a critical thinker. I can't have that. You're a Nazi, you're whatever they want to tag me as. Like, I've been called conservative, I've been called an NDPer, been called a socialist, communist, fascist, because they don't agree with what fact that I put out there. So if we can get,
I don't even know if it's they don't agree with the fact that you put out there. I think it's that they don't want to bother to look it up and see if the fact is true.
Yeah.
Well, like, because it might be against what they believe, and then you're in an uncomfortable position.
And not even that. I mean, those
bias, and can't have an opinion.
That trash response, I'm sorry, it's a very, very lazy way to respond to an argument, is to name call, swear, use hate language, threaten someone. That's the laziest way that you can come back to somebody with an argument.
Yeah. I'm spending a lot of my time trying to come up with a counter.
People who aren't afraid to say whatever they want online because there's no repercussions. They can just type it in and nobody sees who they are. So you see a lot of that online, and it means nothing. And I avoid it at all costs. The second I see those,
I stuff about the recall in the community groups, and then I don't go back.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not there for the conversation. The people who need to know the information I've shared, they've got it. They can come talk to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know about you guys, but I mean, where we are, I mean, for God's sakes, it's the same 12 people every time who are making the same noise and the same this and the same that. I mean, it gets tiresome after a while.
I mean, and it's on both sides. Like, let's be real. The people that are like in the whatever Alberta from the UCP or whatever the Facebook group is, it's the same message. Just tell, Smith is this. We're using AI to make her look like this. I don't care. Like, how do we get to a point where, like, we all don't like her? That's fine. We can all agree on that. She's not a good person. How do we stop her from being evil and controlling the situation that we're in? How do we get, and this recall is one of those ways, one of those sort of opportunities to be able to have a voice.
Well, they've left us with very few tools.
I was going to say, I feel like this is the only choice that we've had this the only course of action that we could possibly take to
And
have our voice heard.
unfortunately, I'm still in a belief that the only real recourse that we can have is to go after that royal assent. I know it's a very like no one. It's
Where would you even
unprecedented.
start with that? Do you have ideas? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, it's to call out Lacani, is to call her to the go and protest Government House, go and protest the events that she's going and making her little appearances at, and
Does she
saying,
have
look,
any have to meet with people kind of expectation? Like, I mean, I know because we're all on the MLAs because they won't meet with us, but there is an expectation at least that they would 1 week a month.
It's hard. Like, you're supposed to, there's all these decorums that you're supposed to follow. I've not seen the average person be able to have a meeting with her. I've seen groups come in. I've seen dignitaries come, like she meets with the this person of China or this person of Brazil or whatever. Like, it's all these mucky muck positions, but the average citizen can't reach her. And I'm going, okay, so
because she's kind of removed from the process at that point, right? Like,
then when she comes in the middle of the night after an all overnight session and goes stamp, these are now law. Then I go, well, what the hell are you here for? I mean, well, we've never done it. Well, actually, you did in 1940, whatever it was, with the lieutenant governor at the time, reserved his royal assent. That actually was a very important bill that Bible Bill and Manning were trying to do and control the media. And that actually became a federal, Supreme Court of Canada decision that protected journalists. So that bill that they wanted at the time, they wanted all media to go through the government before it got published. That got saying, well, this is against the rights of media, and that stopped it. But it was only the governor or the lieutenant governor that was able to do it. And at the time, he lived in Government House, so they shut off his power and shut off his heat as government. Now Lacani doesn't live there. So it doesn't matter. There's no recourse from this government that could really hurt her.
I had a glimmer of hope that she was going to do something until I saw the timeline. And once they said, oh, it's going to be signed by 1 p.m., I went, oh, fuck that. Right? Like, because I was going to get in on the letter writing and all of that. And I was like, oh, I wish I'd been writing her sooner because, the one a day.
I tried that. And I because I got into arguments with the NDP supporters where we have to write your letter to the MLA. I said, my MLA is shit cookie. She's not going to read it. So what's the next step?
But they still tally it. But I mean, other than having, because for every letter or email they get, that counts as 25 similar opinions. So when they keep their tally in the books, you used to be able to go and look this up. I haven't tried to look it up recently, but in BC where I grew up, you could anyways. And you could see, oh, we got so many on this topic this month, so many on this topic. And so then they would use that to formulate where their policy and things were going, right? Because at least it showed them where the heartbeat of the but
then with Bill 38, they refused the Information Act, where you're not be able to call out any information. It's all protected. I'm going, so we know that during the Kenney government, they even admitted it on social media at one point that they're using burner phones, and they would call, if a reporter was going to be calling them on the Friday afternoon, they'd go into the office Friday morning and start shredding shit and deleting files off the computers. We know the UCP government has done these things, and no one has kept them accountable. I mean, we've had the ethics commissioner, we've had this person, and they just get fired. Like, oh, well, what kind of system can you fire the ethics commissioner who's in charge of regulating you?
This one.
This one. And this is
that's any different than industry, though. Like, I mean, I worked in a school where there was a principal who was acting poorly, and they simply shuffled him to a different building. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's systemic. Again, there's that word.
The lemon dance in education is very well known in regards to, you have a shitty teacher or a shitty admin, you just shuffle them to whatever until they retire. But in something like a government, you think, and this is why when people say democracy is dying, I'm like, democracy is dead. Like, democracy has been bought and paid for by corporations. Like, we're having these conversations to have the perception of democracy, because true democracy, I don't know if it ever existed, but it hasn't existed in our lifetime since, I would say, since the Stephen Harper federal government. I think that's when you started to see a lot of the Privacy Act and all that shit was hidden, and the access to media and all these sort of things were starting to become more dictatorship as opposed to access to your MLA. I've never been anywhere like I've did radio in BC, Saskatchewan, and here in Alberta. There's never been anywhere where you didn't have access to your local MLA until now. Like the fact that they
right, Garth, I'm going to get his last name wrong. No, it starts with an M, but I would meet with him all the time, right? He's a great guy, right? Like not the party I would vote for necessarily, but what I liked about him was he would ask me questions like, what does pedagogy mean? Like if he doesn't know the industry, at least he'd ask.
Yeah.
I'm okay with people not knowing as long as you're okay with learning, right? Like, I don't know.
Exactly. If you are open to learning, then not knowing is okay. But having critical thought and not just following like sheep. Like this whole concept of, oh, you're a sheep, you're just following the shepherd. I'm going, it's the people that are being shepherded are the ones that are calling you a sheep. You're not seeing it. You're not seeing the fact that this is a system that is designed to control you. And
all pigs are created equal, but some are created more equal than others. Orwell.
Yeah. We are
100%.
I think it's easy to get lost. I think it's easy to get lost in that, wormhole of like that we don't have any power and we don't have any democracy, and why the hell are any of us even doing this? I mean, I think at the end of the day, the reason why we're all doing this is because we do have some hope. And if you do nothing, nothing happens. Yes. I mean, is this going to result in however many MLAs getting overturned? No. Right? But you at least feel like you have some control over the situation. You have some say over the situation, and you're actually able to find the other community members who feel the same way as you do. Yeah. And then you build those connections, and that helps you get through it. You know what I mean? Like if we say that it's like the people who say, well, I'm not political, I don't vote. That's a cop-out. I mean, it's going to happen to you whether you want it to or not. Yeah. So pick one, right? Yeah.
Like, I think that might be a good push, is to increase voter turnout. At the very least, let's get a government that actually is voted in by the majority.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I said. Like, I mean, the overall number, whatever political stripe you wear, of constituents who are going to be educated, aware, they know their rights, they know what their MLA has been up to, they know what's coming down the pipe in terms of legislation and policy. That's never a bad thing. That's good for everyone.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like, I mean, and the fact that the number of signatures we have to get is as low as it is, honestly. When you look at the number of bodies in each constituency that could be voting, right? We basically just have to get more signatures than the people who voted for the UCP. Is that sort of like a silly way to explain it? I don't know.
Yeah, so to give you numbers, we have 41,000 registered constituents in our riding.
Yeah.
Searle, our UCP MLA, got 14,000 and change as he won the vote in 2023. Yeah. The next closest candidate got 10,000 and change. Mm-hmm. So when you say that, about 25,000 out of 41,000 people showed up, I mean, can we get that higher?
We're already 10,000. Similar with huge population here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the point. I mean, like, I hate to be I don't want to be like the Grinch or whatever negative you want to say. And it's not saying that we don't have hope. It's just hard to look at it when you look. I mean, I have to stop looking because I see so much shit going on that it's just like, how do we battle this? And what you are all doing is fantastic. Mona, you're right. This isn't about getting the change that you want. It's about starting the change of perception for the citizens, and then getting a true representation of people, not just what is being presented by whatever media outlet or whatever sort of thing. We're running towards to end. We've got about 10 minutes left. I guess the last thing we would look at is you guys have till February, correct? Looking at February to get the numbers. Any major events coming up for you guys that you wanted to promote, or is there like Mona? You wanted to start on that?
Yes. Can I tell you that our MLA, Cyril Turton, typically has a Christmas open house, and he invites everyone on his Facebook page. And you just have to RSVP so he knows how much, cheese and fruit and crackers to buy. This year, Cyril has decided to make it invite only. And I can't imagine why. He doesn't want to have his doors open. So Thursday night, December 4th, this week in Spruce Grove, we are going to be at Columbus Park from 6 until 8. We're going to have some canvassers there taking signatures, and I'm going to have Christmas cards that people can fill out for Cyril, because we want to make sure that he gets our very best wishes this holiday. So people can write down why they think he needs to be recalled, what they want to see for the future of the province, the type of job they think he's doing, feedback on legislation, whatever. And we will make sure that those get to him, because he's not doing a great job of welcoming us into his office. So we're just going to make sure that he can get that. And then his office is actually just up the street about a block. So about 7:30, 7:45, we're going to all walk down and stand on the sidewalk and make sure we wave while everyone inside is having their wine and cheese. And we're outside in the cold, in the snow, and just say hello. Make sure he knows we're still here and we're thinking about him. That's it.
I love that. I love that so much.
That's awesome.
You should sing Christmas carols.
Absolutely.
Oh, we are. I've got ChatGPT doing "Let It Snow" to "He's Gotta Go."
We're done.
Very good. Melissa, how about yourself?
We don't have any, I wouldn't say we have any big events per se. We are a very Christmas market oriented community, I will say that. And there's a bunch of different Christmas markets, and we are there for them. We will be at all of the Christmas markets everywhere in and around our community. Just go to a Christmas market. You'll find us. We'll be there. So that's our big push right now. I was looking into doing like a little kind of Christmas party. I have a room that I can rent and invite some canvassers. And technically, it's one of those, like, I'm not allowed to canvass on this property, but there's a room you can rent for private events. So if I want to invite some friends to stop in and say hi and, get some information, that's something that we can do.
Awesome.
And if you go to our website, it is pit-recall.ca, and we have a map, and you can find where our canvassers are at any given time. Our new library, the Inspire Center, we've rented. It's not donated. We have rented space there at least twice a week from the donations that have come in. And so that's our one warm place. We also have Duds, which is a store in Airdrie that has offered us space where we can be warm, but we are all over the community. We're at the Airdrie Light Up Airdrie thing. We're at all the Christmas markets. So we're only have 40 canvassers right now, and we really could use some more. So we're hoping some people will sign up to help us. If you are homebound, if you have small children and you don't want to spend 25 minutes putting them in snowsuits, we have an email. You can email us and we will come to you. So we've got lots of things in place to mobilize and get people out to you, or for you to come to us. And it's a busy time of year, but we're willing to make the time to get those signatures.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And
we've got
again,
a lot of that. So on my website, recallsawhney.ca, you can book a mobile canvasser to come straight to your house.
Yep.
Basically any time of the day.
Ours
And
is pit.recall first, because somebody went in and bought up all the domain names.
I bought mine really
Yes.
quickly when I decided. I was like, I got to get in there right now and get that. And I got Recall Sawhney. But yeah, we have one permanent location. You can book a time to go to this person's house. He'll send you his address after you've confirmed information with him, so that it's a safe process. But yeah, we have one permanent location. We have mobile canvassers. I'm organizing that.
Awesome. I mean, especially with the weather that we have, it's trying to make this as non-painful as possible. So that is great. And thank you very much, ladies. This has been fantastic. I've been informed. Hopefully everyone that's been watching has been informed. And again, all the links are in the description. And go to the Operation Total Recall, and you'll see all the different MLAs and all the information, all the emails. I know they've done a great job in organizing it, and I believe it's only 2 people or something that did that whole website. So
yeah, and we often get lumped in as that's how we're well organized. If you see the 3 of us talking tonight, this is the first time we've met. Right, we're sharing information.
Oh yeah, I showed up on the chat, and I'm like, "Who's this?"
Right, who you're recalling? Oh, a new person. Right?
No,
because
when you see that there are similarities between the website or a website like Operation Total Recall, these are independent citizens who happen to have a talent for web-based things,
and they've
offered their time to do these because they see the importance of people being able to find the information in an easy location, and we're very grateful for that.
Yeah,
we still run our own campaigns, but they're basically they wanted to make sure that people all across the province could find and stay on top of what was happening with this. So we're grateful to them for that.
And if you're looking to organize your own recall, reach out to any of us. I'm sure we can help you get started, or we can point you to people at the AB Resistance. Like, there's lots of people out there who know how to do this. Don't reinvent the wheel. Please don't. Yeah. This is too much.
Mm-hmm.
Work with other people. It really makes the journey better.
100%.
Yeah.
And if any of you that are part of the recall that are watching and want to be a part of Allegedly in Alberta, you can take it from these 3 that we didn't punish them. We didn't make it hard for them. We tried to make it relaxing and informative and somewhat entertaining. I know talking politics is not always entertaining, but I think we did a pretty good job in regards of keeping everyone at least engaged for the 2 hours. Maybe not awake, you might be sleeping, but anyway, I know that we've all got kids and stuff to put to bed. So again, ladies, thank you very much. And everyone watching, thank you. You can like and subscribe all across the board. Find us on Substack. Go to our website, abpoly.ca. That's where the merch is. That's where you'll find the different things. One of them is more evil than villains, and it's a picture of Marlena and Jordan Peterson as the Jokers, is what we feel, and all proceeds going to the Accountability Alliance as we look to provide support to all the recall stuff, because hey, that's what we're trying to do, and keep us on air. So again, everyone, thank you very much for joining us. Ladies, thank you again for being a part of this, and we will see you all next time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
This has been Allegedly in Alberta on the Info with Integrity Network. Authorized by the Alberta Accountability Alliance, abpolyca@gmail.com.